This is Jerry. He's a software developer working for Globomantics. He's trying to access the API from his front-end application, but he's getting an error. When he makes a request to the API, he gets the error that access has been blocked by CORS policy. No access control allow origin headers are present. This issue is happening because the server is not configured to allow requests from origins other than the one that is hosted. When our browser makes a request to the server, it sees that the server hasn't been configured to allow the requests, so it prevents us from accessing the response. If we looked into the Network tab, the request comes through without any errors, but if we try to look into the response, we can't view it. This is the browser preventing us from accessing that information. This limitation is called Same Origin Policy. It's a rule enforced by browsers which controls access to data between web applications. If a web application isn't configured to allow access to requests from origins that we are making them, the browser will not allow us to access the result, or, in some cases, it will not allow us to make the request. Without Same Origin Policy, any web page would have access to the DOM of other pages. This would let it access potentially sensitive data from other web pages as well as perform actions on them without user consent. Let's say you browse a malicious website while at the same time you are logged in on your bank account. Without Same Origin Policy, the malicious website could make authenticated calls using your cookies that were created for your bank's site, even though it does not have access to them. This happens because browsers automatically attach any cookies bound to your bank's domain when a call is made to it. If the HTTP calls were restricted to the same origin, then this will not allow calls from other websites and prevent hackers from doing cross-site request forgeries. An origin is defined as a combination of a protocol, domain, and port. These three parts need to be exactly identical for an origin to be considered the same. The following URLs, even though might look similar, they are considered different by the Same Origin Policy because we have different protocols, domains, and ports. The only parts of the URLs that are not taken into consideration are paths and query parameters, which are ignored. The following URLs with paths and query strings belong to the same domain, and the browser will allow us access to them. Same Origin Policy is a great security measure, but sometimes we might want to bypass this restriction. There are cases when we have web clients that need to access APIs that are not on the same origin. In these cases, we need to loosen the tight grip of Same Origin Policy to allow our web clients access. That's where Cross-Origin Resource Sharing comes into place, or CORS for short. It's an HTTP mechanism that utilizes HTTP headers to define origin permissions. Via these CORS headers, the server can inform the browser that it's okay to allow access to some or all origins based on your configuration. The browser will read the CORS headers, and if our origin is part of these allowed origins, it will give us access to the response. We'll look into more details on CORS and how to configure